Hi everybody, in this video I am going to show you how to sublimate onto an 18-ounce hydro handle bottle from Hog Distributors. I get these at Stainless Depot. I like the 18-ounce because it works for little ones and tweens, but I've made a bunch of these. So this is what the bottle looks like. I leave the top on there so I can put my design right in the center. So what I'm going to do is alcohol this really well, and then I'm going to tape my design on. So this is the design that I'm doing. This is my water bottle. So I'm putting this on there. I didn't add my name or anything like that to it, but this is the design that I have. I will put the link on the YouTube video so everybody knows where I got this from. I get this from Happy Hippo Designs. I asked her for the blonde girl and she was able to do all of this for me. So I'm going to put this on my own personal mug, or my own personal tumbler, for tonight for my book club meeting. So I'm going to show how this is done right now. I'm going to alcohol this really quick and then I'll show you how I tape all this on. Okay, so on these water bottles, you'll see that there's a ridge on these, so you can't go all the way up to the top. You're going to get puckers all the way around here. So I go a little bit shorter here. And then typically, I mean, you can go all the way to the edge. I don't go all the way to the edge because, as I've said in my other videos, I have put silicone bumpers on all of these, especially my water bottles, because I use them all day, every day. So they get beat up pretty bad. But I'm going to tape my design on there and we're going to get this pressed. So I want the girl on the front of my design. So you can see that I've left my top on here. So I am going to put my girl on here and flip my design around. So my seam's actually going to be on the center, not on the back on this one, only because of the way that this design is. I mean, you could do it where it's the open book on this design, which would be right in the center of the front, but I want the girl in the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one piece of tape. I went back to the brown tape that I get from Amazon because that seems to stretch better. So I'm going to put one piece across the center so I can take my top and everything off and get started on this. So you can see I'm not quite to where my ridge is here because that's where it starts to go in on the top, and you don't want it to pucker right there. So I leave a little bit of an overlap on here. It's probably like a 1/16 of an inch overlap, not even close to a quarter. I try to make it as small as I possibly can for an overlap. So I'm going to take my top off and I'm going to start with the top. You can see, obviously, this is what they look like. So these are double wall. They are absolutely amazing. I bought 3 cases of these and have been making these almost nonstop. So these are great for the kids to take to school. And like I said, I use these all the time. So I'm going to tape this down. So I try to do one big piece of tape and I pull it so it's almost like it'll stretch to go all the way around, and then I use my nail if I see any place that almost looks like it's gonna do a pucker. So I try to eliminate all of that with my nails. You can put more tape if you need to, adjust it if you have to. If it doesn't look tight, like this one right now doesn't look like it's very tight, I'm going to put a piece of tape up here to try to pull that, and I'm going to retape my top part. So I'm going to do my bottom. Make sure when you tape it that your overlap is facing the same direction on the top and on the bottom. So I'm going to grab another big piece of tape. And I am going to pull it and tape my design down. And I'm overlapping that there. And as I said, I'm trying to pull out any of the puckers. So you can't see them in there, but I'm trying to work any of them out. You'll see that your paper is going to want to buckle right there. So I put tape over the whole thing, and I am going to use shrink wrap too to make sure that I have all of the little words and stuff on this design. So I'm going to do another piece on the top and on the bottom. So there's another piece on the top. So you can see I come all the way up to where that ridge is on the top. And any of them that I think is gonna pucker, I try to pull it up. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the bottom. And then I'm gonna go up the entire tumbler. So this is an 18 ounce, but this is actually wider than a skinny tumbler. So I have one standard mug press that's set up for tumblers and for water bottles. I don't adjust this, so I just did a bunch of tumblers, and I'm going to use the same adjustment setting on it, so I don't mess with it. It goes super, super tight onto this because it is wider. It's a little bit skinnier than a 20 ounce fatty, but like I said, these water bottles have been really good quality for me. I haven't had any issues with the finish or anything like that, and like I said, I've purchased 3 or 4 cases already. I think this size is sold out. I get them from Stainless Depot. So you can see I've gone over the entire thing. So this is exactly how I do the tumblers also. So I wrapped the entire thing. I put a lot of tape on this. I'm going to shrink wrap this also. And then we will get it in the mug press. Okay, so this is my shrink film from Condi. It's 7 by 11. I use the same size for pretty much everything. And this is just a Wagner heat press that I've had for a while. I have it on hot. I'm going to try to get this so it doesn't. If you aren't holding it, your shrink wrap will pull all the way down, and then you have to take it off and put a new sheet on. You can use heat gloves for this, but as you can see, my gloves that are on the bottom actually leave little red lint thingies on it, which is a pain. So right now I'm going over the entire tumbler or water bottle and getting out all of the air bubbles. To make sure that it's as tight as possible. You can try to pull it. As I said, you're going to burn yourself if you're not using heat gloves or anything like that. And so it looks like I have most of the air bubbles out. Most of the time I don't use the shrink wrap, but I did one the other day for my son and the color came out pretty good. So I'm going to try this one with it also. Okay, so this one's done. Now I'm going to mark my halfway point just like I do on my tumblers, so I know that I'm not hitting the exact same spot the entire time. So I'm going to mark my halfway point and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so I take a pencil and I'm going to mark the halfway point. You can see the seam right here, so that'll be one side. And I'm going to take the other side and go 180 degrees. There's my halfway point. So you're only going to press from here to here. So and this is about 6 1/4 inches. So that will fit just fine in the mug press. So the mug press is set for 390 degrees. And the timer is set for 60 seconds. So you're going to press in 4 positions at 60 seconds each. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in for the first press. I'm not going all the way to the bottom here. I'm coming in a little bit because I've got plenty of space. So this is my halfway mark. This is 1/2 of it. So I'm going to come in a little bit and start my first press. Okay, so I'm going to flip this. So I take it out and flip it, not going all the way to the end. Again, there's my halfway mark. And I'm going to start it again. Okay, so now we're going to start the third press, and all I'm going to do is turn this around, and you can see where my mark is again. and I'm going to start my press. Okay, so we're going to flip it for the last time. Not going all the way to the bottom, like I said. You can see my halfway mark. And we're going to pull it off once it's done. Okay, so we are done. So that's 4 different positions, 60 seconds each position. I'm going to take this over to my table and take the shrink wrap off. Okay, so I remove my shrink wrap right away. I don't let it cool. So I am going to remove all of this. Just be careful if you're using scissors like I am to try to cut it because of that lip, that you don't hit any of the sublimation coating because it will scratch. So I'm going to take this off and I'll show you what it looks like. All right. So this is really hot, so you're going to want to be careful. I'm going to take more of this off and then I'll start the video again. All right, so here's the moment of truth. And here's the bottle. So here is what it looks like. Sorry, my lighting is horrible. As I said, I don't come right down to the bottom, only because I put bumpers. So if I have words, I'd like to be able to see it. I'm probably going to put a clear bumper on this one, but you can see the design. Like I said, the seam was here, right going up this side where the 2 pages meet. You can see the seam on this one. But as I said, I will post the link on where I got this design. It was from Happy Hippo Designs. She's done a bunch of stuff for me, and her quality is always amazing. So this is what the bottle looks like. This is what it is done. These are the silicone bumpers that I put on the bottom of them. And I got these ones from DH Gate, and they are 70 centimeters. So you can see, but this makes it so you don't have that clinking noise, and it protects it if I end up dropping the bottle. So here is what it looks like with the top on. So my girl is in the front. So this is how I wanted it, and you can see how shiny and perfect that looks. But like I said, I did clear on this one. Since this design doesn't have pages underneath it, you'll see that this part is covered. But this one, like I said, is for me. I didn't add a name or anything like that, but this is what the bottle looks like, and that's what it's done. I will post all the information on the video itself. Thanks. Happy crafting.